You're checking out the longest running online radio show on the iPower Evening Show. DeMarco J on Pretty Ricky and Stefan Mason.
For DeMarco's Rant.
DeMarco's Rant.
Why the you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop lying.
Hey, I'm just telling you how I feel. DeMarco comes real.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
I'm not going to let your false narratives against me go unchallenged. DeMarco comes real.
Right here, right now.
On the iPower Evening Show.
iPower Evening Show. Today is Thursday, December 5th, 2019. DeMarco comes real every Tuesday and Thursday. Time for my rant. The homeless population is out of control in New York City. Mental health is being untreated, also in NYC. Now, why do I say that? 24-year-old Randy Santos, who was homeless, murdered other 4 homeless people on the streets of New York. Yes, this man snapped without warning, beating 5 homeless people with a metal pipe. 4 died. 1 is still recovering from his injury. He was temporarily insane. Now, I'm not giving this man any excuses, but the system has failed him to receive mental health treatment for his bipolar. And we know those who are mentally ill need that treatment to get well. But unfortunately, when you are homeless, you try to stay alive, trying to survive as much as possible on these streets. But sadly, these people are not getting the help that they need. And when you do not get the help that is needed to treat the mentally ill, those demons inside of you takes over. You can't function right. You can't afford new clothing, toiletries, or any hygiene products to keep yourself clean. You're like a zombie out there in the streets and treated less than human. This young man that I keep seeing near Penn Station on 7th Avenue all the time, who is African American, that is homeless, looks depressed, sad, crying, walking barefooted on the street with his feet swollen so big you thought he was wearing old black beat-up sneakers. But unfortunately, those were his actual feet. And knowing how the streets of New York is, the shelters are overcrowded with other homeless people who are sex offenders, those who have long-length criminal records and have a substance abuse issue. They made some of these subway stations their home, literally. And to put on top of that, they even made the subway trains their home. Trust me, I saw it for myself, because I was on the number 1 train during the summer going to the Bronx. They made their own personal bedroom on the number 1 train and the number 7 train going towards Queens by using their bed sheets to block off other passengers entering in from looking on as they ride the subway. These unfortunate homeless people made themselves a personal home by temporarily living on these subway trains as their own resident in NYC. And I know that some people who are blessed have these nice, beautiful homes in Midtown Manhattan or Lower Manhattan, living a good life, who some out there are shaming the homeless, saying, oh, that's what happens when you become a drunk, drinking so much. That's what happens when you are a drug addict. Get a job, you bum. That's what happens when you refuse to pay rent. Do you know that that's not always the case? You have couples who are on the street right now who cannot even afford to pay rent in their own apartment due to high price costs going up in NYC, or on their jobs laying off their workers. It is not always what you think. Ish happens. Stuff happens when it's no fault of your own, who are up to par paying bills over buying groceries just to have a roof over their heads. No one should have to choose rent over medication just to keep yourself stable or just stay alive. And I don't want to say that this is just a New York thing. No, because I've also seen this in Boston. But at least, and I hate to say this as much as I hate to admit it, the city of Boston is trying. They are trying to do their best to get the homeless off the street and putting them into shelters, despite of some of the homeless out there are shooting heroin up in their arms in the open public near a local hospital at Boston Medical Center. You cannot make this stuff up, because I've seen it for myself, seeing people do that crap in front of their children. I don't know why their children is with them when they're doing this kind of crap out there in the open. Anyways, the homeless are in need of help, from medical to mental health assistance, right into affordable housing. Because if we as a city, like in New York or in Boston or wherever across the country, keep ignoring the cries and calls for help of the homeless on our streets, who are off their medication, who are hungry, who can't afford new shoes, clothing, and can't afford to keep themselves cleaned, you are going to see more of the same. Like this 24-year-old homeless guy randomly killing 4 innocent homeless people after he snapped, going insane. These major cities have to act now before more homeless lives, or even just lives, period, who has places to live, become the next random target. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is my rant.